when we are starting with site clearance, we always measure this one. We shall be measuring like a rectangle, then we shall deduct the void. Alright, so if we are measuring the rectangle for site clearance, the external length is 10,500, the external length is 5,500. So if you see the 5,500, it's outside the column and outside the column. If you look at the wind side, the column extends by 100, the column extends by 100. So the external dimensions of the wind side is 5,500 minus 100 here and 100 here. It remains with 5,300. Then when we are doing site clearance, we always add the projection for the strip, or we just say the spread. Okay, now we shall deduct we shall add the spread for the wall. You can see the wall is 200 millimeters. Then we have an extension for how much? You can see the foundation strip is 6 millimeters, 600 millimeters wide. So what is the spread on the outside? It's 600 minus 200 divided by 2. So this side is 200. So for the strip, we shall add 200 both sides of the wing. Then after the strip, let me use my pen to draw. After the strip is getting up to there and up to there. It's a straight line. I'm not able to draw a straight line. It's a straight line. So from here, after the strip to the end of the column and this other side, we shall add the spread for this side of the column, because finally when you are clearing the site, we should consider even the spread due to the base of the column. So this means that we shall clear the site up to like this rectangle that I'm drawing here in red. Meaning, let me first draw the rectangle. We shall clear the site giving an allowance. What is this allowance? Between the wall and the where we shall clear the site. This allowance is for the spread. First we shall give the spread for the wall. Then this other spread here is for the spread for the column. So how do we calculate the total spread? The total spread, if we are to extend from the section, the wall is up to here, where the column is. So if the wall is up to here, the spread is up to the edge of the column base. So the column base is 1,000. 1,000. We subtract the thickness of the wall, which is 200. It shall be 800. 800. Then we shall divide by 2 sides. So for the width, for the length, it shall be a total of 400 for each side. So this 200, 200, 400 for each side. So both sides they will be multiplied by 2. Or you can do as I have done here. The length is 10,500. Then the projection for the strip is 200 on both sides. Then you will just come and find the projection for the column base here. You shall take 100 minus 400. No, 1,000 minus 600 for the foundation strip. 1,000 minus 600 is 400. 400 divided by 2 is 200. So the projection for the strip is 200 and the projection for the column is 200. So both sides we shall add 200 for the strip, which gets us to 400. Then both sides we shall add 200 for the column, which gets us to 400. So the total for the length that we shall clear is 11,300. Let's go to the width. For the width, I have already told you to note that the width is 5,500, bearing in mind that there is an extension of 100 on this side and 100 on the other side. Alright, so the external dimensions of the walls on the wind side is 5,300, which comes from 5,500 minus 200. We get 5,300. Then the strip foundation. The strip foundation, if the column itself is 300. Alright, you can see that our column base is here. Column base is 1,000 by 1,200 millimeters. So the strip foundation for the wind side, you should be able to see it that the column shall be 300, unlike the length side, which was 200. So if the column is 300, what is the projection that we shall experience for the First we do for the strip footing, then you go to the for the column base. The strip footing will still be 600. So 600 minus 200 for the wall. The wall shall be 200. 600 minus 200 shall be 400. 400 divided by 2 shall be 200. So the strip both sides, we shall add 200. Remember, this one was the dimensions of the external dimensions of the wall on the wind side. So we add for the strip. Now we want to know, after the strip footing, what will be the projection towards the base of the column. This one is 1200, the width of the column base. If it is 1200, then we subtract the strip footing, which is 600. We shall remain with 1200 minus 600, 600. 600 divided by 2, the spread for the column shall be 300 on both sides. So we shall also add 300 times 2. So the total for the wind for side clearance shall be 5300 plus 400 plus 600. We get 6300. Alright, so the dimensions for side clearance shall be, the length shall be 11.3 and the width shall be 6.3. So we shall clear the site of all bushes, grass, undergrowths, and burn away all arising. Alright, so the next step, we shall reduce the level up to where we can lay the hardcore. How do we know how much depth we shall reduce the level, and if it is necessary? This is how we test. We shall take the depth that we have. Alright, so we are told that 100 millimeters oversight concrete, alafu we have 25 millimeters maram blinding, then we have the hardcore, which is 275. So we shall add all those. We get 400 millimeters, the total depth for all these layers. Then we are given above the ground level, it's 250. Then we are reduced. We have already. Okay. We shall excavate away the topsoil by 150 millimeters. So if we above the ground is 250, how much will remain if we take the total thickness of the layers, which is 400 minus 250 above the ground? What is the depth below the soil that we have to go? We shall take 400 minus 250, we get 150 millimeters. We have excavated vegetable soil 150 millimeters. So 150 minus 150, it's 0 millimeters. This means that after removing the vegetable soil at a depth of 150 millimeters, we will already be in the reduced level. I hope that is clear. The reduced level is the level where we lay our hardcore. So we wanted to know how much depth we shall be able to excavate from the ground level. Then after the topsoil has been excavated, the remaining depth is the one that we reduce the level to that depth. Now, the total depth of these layers is 400. We deduct 250 above the ground, so it remains 150. 150 millimeters, we have already excavated it by removing all the vegetable soil. So that means that the level that we have attained after removing the vegetable soil is also the reduced level. So after clearing the site with these dimensions, we shall just excavate away 150 millimeters deep to remove vegetable soil and deposit in soil heaps on site, average 100 millimeters distance from the site. If we were to reduce the level by any depth, we could add another item below here saying that we need to reduce the depth by this depth to reduced level. Alright, I hope that is very clear. So we have cleared the site, assuming that it's a rectangle, and we have given an allowance for the foundation spread. So the area that we have cleared according to our dimensions is that area I have drawn using the red rectangle. But you can note that here where I am pointing using my pointer is a void. It's outside the building, because a building is usually marked by the walls. So here inside the walls is where we have the building, but here is outside the building. So we need to subtract this area, which we call the void. So when we subtract that area, we shall give an extension for the foundation spread. because the walls will have a spread. These walls, the ones I'm pointing using my pointer, must have a spread all around. That's why if we are coming to subtract the area of the void, it shall be this area that I'm painting using my yellow pen. So this one will be the area of the void. So we need to take the dimensions of the void. Alright, so what was the length of the void? Okay, I've finished painting. So how will it affect the void? This from here outside the wall to here outside the wall was 3400. So we shall deduct the spread this side, which is spread for the strip 200, spread for the column 200. That is 400 on both sides. 400 times 2 is 800. So that 400 minus 800, we shall remain with 2600 for the length. Then the width now. The width we have already been measured for from outside the wall to the inside of the wall. So, and we shall deduct this spread here from 2500. Then we shall add the thickness of the wall plus the spread. Alright, so coming to this space here for the spread, which has been 2500, we shall take 2500 minus this foundation spread. The foundation spread here, remember it was the spread for the strip footing 200, then for the column base, which measures 1200 on the width side, so on one side it shall be 300. 300 plus for the strip 200, it shall be 500. So the spread here, we shall give an allowance of 500, which is 2500 minus 500, 2000. Then from here we shall add the width of the wall. The wall is 200, then we add 500. The same foundation spread that was compensated here, we shall remove it here, because when we were marking this rectangle in red, we had already added the foundation spread. So 2500 minus 500 plus 200 plus 500, because the wall was not inside. Use this thickness of this one. The thickness of this wall was not included, but now we shall have to include the thickness of this wall. So it shall be 2500 minus 500 plus 200 plus 500, which gives us 2.7. So that's why we have 2.7 here. I hope that is clear.